Hello, my name is Jose Augusto and today I'm going to show you how to create an agent on Freshservice. The first step, you will need to head down to the More section and you will select the admin section. In this admin section, you will need to go down, scroll down until you see User Management section. In here you will need to select the Agents section. In this page, you will have a look of all your agents. In this case, I have already pre-made some agents while I was learning how to create the agents. But if you want to create a new agent, you will need to click in this section, New Agent. Once you are here, you will see different information about the agent, like email, first name, last name, title, work phone, mobile phone, and some other information that you will need to fill. You will need to fill all those fields. In this part, you will see an information about the agent, like full-time agent and occasional agent. A full-time agent is an agent that consumes an agent license, and an occasional agent is an agent that just have 3-day passes available, so he will only log in into your web page of Freshservice 3 days. In this part, you can also select a profile picture for your agent. Once you have already filled all those fields, you can scroll down to this section of the page and you will select a role to the agent. In this case, I'm going to select the role of Change Manager, and I'm going to select across all groups in help desk. Once you click on Save section in the bottom of Save, you will find your new agent on the agent list. Here is Mikasa Jose. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to create a group. If you want to create a group, you will need to follow these steps. First, you will need to go to More section and select Admin section. Once you are here, you will need to scroll down until you find the User Management section, and you will need to click on Groups. Once you are on the Group sections, you will see that you already have a list of groups that are pre-made by the platform. If you want to create a new group, you will need to click on Create New. Here you will have 2 ways to create a new group. You can create an agent group or a requester group. In this case, I'm going to select the agent group. Once you are in this page, you will need to assign a group name. In this case, I'm going to create a group according to a localization. So I'm going to name it like Brazil Agents Group, for example. Group description. Here you can select the business hours. I'm going to set it as default, and the business function, I'm going to assign it as sales and marketing in this case. You can also select the members of the group. In this case, I'm going to select the one that we created, and this one and this one. So we have 3 members on this group. Here you can see the part of group automations. If a ticket remains unassigned for more than 15 minutes, you can also change this information. You can choose the time according to your needs. I'm going to select 30 minutes. In case that a ticket remains unassigned for more than 30 minutes, this is going to send an escalation. I'm going to select my admin account. So once a ticket remains unassigned for 30 minutes, it will send an escalation email to my account. So that's the way how we create a new group. You click on Save, and in here in your agent groups you will see that you have a new group. Now I'm going to show you how to create and establish the business hours. To establish the business hours, you will need to go to the admin section. Once you are here, you will need to go to business hours. Here in general settings. Once you are here, you can create new business hours. For example, as we created an agent group from Brazil, I'm going to create a business hours for Brazil agents. So I'm going to create Brazil agents business hours. In this part, you will need to select the time zone. Here I'm going to select Brasilia. Here you can see the service desk hours. In this case, you can select 24 hours per 7 days or select working and day hours. In this case, I'm going to select working days hours because it is worth. You can select the days that they will be working. They will be able to work. In this case, I'm going to select the time. The time is they will start work at 8 a.m. and they will end working at 5 p.m. 9 hours of work. And here you can add the yearly holiday list. You can edit manually or you can import holidays. In this case, I'm going to import holidays. I'm going to search holidays from Brazil. Holidays in Brazil, import. Once you import, you will have a list of holidays from Brazil. When should these business hours be applied? Here you can select this information. You can apply these business hours, match all of the conditions below, or match any of the conditions below. In this case, I'm going to select match all of the conditions below. I'm going to select new condition, ticket fields. For example, I'm going to assign it to a group. If the group is Brazil Agents Group, they will use these business hours. Once you have already select this information, you will be using these business hours for the group of Brazil Agents Group. Once you have already select all your business hours, you can click on save. Once you click on save, you will have now at your business hours section a new business hours, the business hours that you already created. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to establish SLA policies. To establish the SLA policies, you will need to go to the admin section. Once you are on the admin section, you will need to click on general settings on the SLA policies section. Once you are here, you will have the list of SL policies that you have already created. To create a new one, you will need to click on new SLA policy. Once you are here, you will need to add a name to this SLA policy. For example, I'm going to ask this SLA policy just for the group of Brazilian workers. So I'm going to name it SLA policy for Brazilian agents. Description: these SLA policies are just for the Brazilian agents group. Once you have already named it, you can go to this part. In this section, you will set the priority of the tickets or the problems. So if you have to create the SLA policies, you can change this information. For example, if a ticket is urgent, you can choose it to respond within 15 minutes and resolve within 3 minutes, for example. I'm going to change all the information. Once you have already filled all those fields to set the SLA policies, you can also select if the operational hours are going to be on business hours or calendar hours. In this case, I'm going to select business hours. In this section, you can also select to send an escalation email if one of these SLA policies is violated. In here, you can select when must be enforced those SLA policies. In this case, I made these SLA policies for the Brazil agents group, so I just selected ticket fields group is Brazil agents group. So now this is just going to be applied to the Brazil agents group. And in this section, you can also select what happens when the due date approaches with this SLA is violated. So for example, you can set an escalation rule when a ticket is not responded on time. When a ticket is not responded on time, you can only select one escalation rule. For example, if a ticket is not responding on time before after 8 hours, for example, it will escalate to the reporting manager and the assigned agent. And if the escalation hierarchy, when a ticket is not resolved on time, you can, in this part, you can add up to 4 escalation rules. For example, you can also select before or after times. In this case, I'm just going to send after times. For example, after 1 time, it will be sent to the assigned agent. After that, it will be sent to reporting manager. And after that, it will send to both. For example, I'm going to delete this one because I don't have too many agents to assign those SLA policies. So I'm going to save this SLA policy. Once you click on save, you will already have this SLA policy for Brazilian agents. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to set up and customize your portal. To do this, you have to go to the admin section. Once you are here, you have to select in general settings the help desk rebranding. Once you are here, you can see the settings that you can do. For example, you can change the portal name. I am working on an organization called ACME, so if I want to change the displayed name on the support portal, I just have to change it in this section. For example, when I go to the support portal, let's go to a support portal, you can see here the name that displays on this section. You can also change the URL of the portal of the company. For example, this is the URL that I am using, which is Acme Company ESP, but you can also change it. You can also change the primary language to all those languages that appears on this list. I'm going to keep it on English. You can change the day format, time format, currency, time zone, and some other information here. You can also customize the branding here. For example, you can change the logo of the portal. For example, I am using this one, and it is used as the Freshservice logo as default, but I changed it to the Acme logo. You can also use a link back URL, and you can change the color of the menu. I'm going to select this one, for example. In this part, you can also, okay, moment, let me go to help desk rebranding again. Okay, once you are here, you can also change to customize your portal. This portal means to the self-service portal, super portal, and you can change all these background colors, navigation menu, portal fonts, and link color. So I'm not going to change it because I already like how it looks, but you can change it too. This is the way it looks actually. You can change all these branding and background colors. You can also change the style sheet in this part. You can add your own custom CSS and override default theme styles. And in this part you can also change the layout and pages. This is of programmation, so I'm not going to touch it. Okay, now let's see a little bit more about the information that displays here on the self-service portal. In here, I am visiting the self-service portal as the administrator account, so I can see all those fields. I can use this to search for solutions, services, and tickets. I can also see this banner in here, which is a welcome to Freshservice information. I'm going to go back. Okay, I can also see all those fields like browse help articles, report an issue or raise a ticket, request for a service, approve requests, and onboard new hires. I can see all this information because I am visiting this page as the administrator. But for example, if I go as any other agent which is not an administrator account, for example, let's select this one. Now I am assuming the identity of Mikasa Jose, which is another agent, and I go to the support portal. I will only see these fields. For example, help, browse help articles for report an issue, request for a service, and approve request. Other thing that we can see on this super portal is the open tickets. For example, I today created a ticket with this account, named my laptop is not working, and here in this part you can see the information of your open ticket. For example, this is being processed because this haven't been already checked by any other agent which can solve this ticket, so this is being processed. But you can always change the information about the ticket if it is already checked or it is already closed. For example, as an agent you can change the information about the ticket, not as this one, because this is the requester. For example, you can see a key in this place, solutions too, and the tickets. Here you can see the ticket that I already raised, and here you can see solutions about any other things. For example, this is the browse help service. In this part you can see articles to help you to solve problems. For example, I created this one, how to set up a computer. This is on Spanish, and I created this help article with a WikiHow link. Here you can see how to set up your computer. This is a solution. You can create any kind of solution. You can create it by your work, I mean handmade solutions by you, or you can always use a link which provides you a solution. To create a solution, you have to go to this part here and select solutions. In here you will see all the articles that are already published. If you want to create a new one, all you have to do is click and add a new article. For example, article to solve problem of emails, for example. This is going to be very general. Here you can write the article by yourself, or you can also attach files like image to solve a problem. For example, I don't have any, but this is just going to be an example. You can write the article here, and you can save it. You can select the category, the folder, the type, the author, the review date, the tags, and the keywords. I'm not going to create this because it's not worth, but you can also create an article from external URL. Here you can do fill the fields that I already mentioned on the previous part, but you can here enter a URL of a problem. For example, I'm going to search for a WikiHow problem, how to use laptops, for example. Here I'm going to paste the URL. This is the title. Here you can select all this information. General, for example, getting started, author by me, tags. I'm not going to add any tags and any keyword, but you can do it. You click on save and you created a new article. Once you click in here, you can see the article, and it will send you automatically to the URL that you use it. Okay, in this part here, which is the self-service portal, I can see those 5 sections, which are the help articles, the report an issue, the request a service, the approve request, and the onboard new hires. For example, I am visiting the portal as an administrator user, so I can see those 5 articles. But if you are not an administrator and you are just a customer, you will only see the browse help articles and the report an issue section. So here in this part, you can search for help articles to solve problems. In this part, you can report an issue. For example, in here you can put a subject of the issue and the description, and you can submit, and it will raise a ticket. In this part, as an agent, you can see the service catalog. For example, if you need an Apple iMac because your computer stopped working and you need a new one for continue working, you can request for this service. And for example, if you need an Adobe Illustrator account to continue your work inside a company, you can also request for this service. It will raise a ticket too, and it will need approval. Here you can see the approve request if you are an agent able to approve requests. And in here you can see the onboard new hires if you are working on the onboarding process. If you are an agent who works in this process, you can see this section. In here you can see the open tickets. I don't have any, but if you already opened the ticket as a customer or as an agent, you can see your tickets here and you can follow them. And in this part you can see the onboarding requests if you are, as I said, working on the onboarding process. Okay, now here you can see that we can create banners. For example, if you want to create a new banner, all you have to do is go to your dashboard and click on announcements. Here you can create a new announcement. For example, this one, we are looking for new employees. Here you can enter the description. For example, if you need an IT manager, you can put it in the description. This is open to you to talk a little bit more about the announcement. Here you can see the starting date and the ending date. If you don't select an ending date, the announcement will last forever. And in this part, which is the visibility, you can select who can see the announcement. For example, I'm going to select for everyone. You can also select for an agent or for a group of agents. And here you can add additional email recipients. Okay, I can't leave it this blank. I'm going to write anything here, and I'm going to create the announcement. Now if you go here and you reload the page, you can see that we have already created this banner. Okay, in this part we are going to set up our support email channels. Here you can go to the admin section and then select support channels. In here you will go to the email section. Once you are here, you will see that the global support emails is being attended by an email called helpdesk acmecompanyesp.freshservice.com. You can always change it or add more email addresses to this one. For example, I'm going to add this one. And this one. Okay, those are going to be another support emails, and this is how we create a support email setting. You can also create new email settings. For example, you can create new email. Here you are going to add a name to this support email will be used in the ticket replies. In here you will add the email address of this email that you are creating to the ticket replies. You can also assign it to a group in case you need it, and you can use the mail server of Freshservice, which is set as default, or you can use your own mail server. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to create a canned response. If you want to create a canned response, all you have to do is go to the admin section. Once you are here, you will go to canned responses at the help desk productivity section. In here you will select the button which says create a new canned response. Once you are here, you can give it a title to the response. For example, I'm going to provide this one. And you can add any message. I'm not going to search for a real one, so I'm going to use this just an example. You can always choose attach a field if you need the email to have a field, and you can choose who is going to be able to use this canned response. For example, I can use it only for myself, for agents, or for the agents of a specific group. I'm going to use it for myself, for example. Once you created the canned response, you can go to the ticket section, for example, to the list of tickets. And if you have a ticket and you want to respond it, for example this one, and you are going to use a reply, you can choose reply, and in here, if you are going to use a canned response, you click in here and you have the canned response that you already created. Insert canned response. This is already inserted, and I can send the ticket, for example. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make an scenario automations. For example, you have to go to the admin section. Once you are here, you have to go to the help desk productivity section, and in here you will find a section called scenario automations. Click in here. Once you are here, you can see the scenario automations that are already created. If you want to create a new one, you just have to click on new rule. I'm just going to use this that I just already created. For example, this is the window that will appear when you select to create a new scenario automation. In this case, I created this scenario when a ticket is very important, and I put on the description to execute this scenario when the ticket is very important. And here you can select the actions that are going to be performed when you execute this scenario for any case. For example, I put on this case to set the priority as urgent and set the urgency as high, and here you can select who is going to be available to use this scenario automation. I put all agents. And this is how you create a scenario automation. To use the scenario automations, you have to go to the ticket page, for example, and here you will find some tickets. You can select any one of those. For example, I'm going to select this one. And to execute the scenario, you must go to this part which says more, and you will select execute X scenario, and here you will select the scenario that I just mentioned, for example this one, and the scenario was already executed. Here you can see that the priority was set to as urgent, and the X scenario was executed. Okay, another important tool while we are using Freshservice is the time tracking. The time tracking works to track the time of agent on a specific action. For example, this is a problem, and here you can see the time tracker. In here you can display to at a time. In here you can find some information that will help you to monitoring the time of an agent, or monitoring the time of a solution to a problem, to a ticket, to a change, or to a release, and how much time it took to finish this task. For example, in here you can see the task, you can see the agent who is tracking the time. For example, this is going to be me, and here you can see the hours. If you leave this field in blank, the hours will start count until the minute 0. I mean, will start count from the start. This is viable just to see if the time will be viable. Here you can add the exact date of when you are going to start, or when you started recording the time, and in here you can add a note. If I click start timer, the timer will start to count, or you can stop anytime the timer once you finish this task, or you finish making this problem solution. So you can stop the timer. For example, let's wait a little bit until it goes to 5 minutes. Well, it didn't goes to 5 minutes, but it's 1 minute, so I can already finish the task. For example, I'm going to click here, stop timer, and the time will stop. And now you in here in the status, you can set it as close, because you already make the problem. I can't do it right now, I don't know why, but that's the way it works. This time tracker, you can see this option in all those 4 fields: in tickets, problems, changes, and releases. You will find this information right there at the end of a selected thing of any one of those 4 fields. For example, here I selected a ticket, and I can go down, and in here I can find the time tracker, and the same with all the other 3 items. Another important fact of Freshservice is the logs. Give me a moment. You must go to the admin tool, and once you are here, you will need to find audit log here. You click in here, and it will display the audit log. In the audit log, you will see all changes inside the portal and the Freshservice page. So here you can see all the changes, for example, that I have made today. Today 26, Sunday 26, I have made a lot of changes. Like, look, I make this automatic workflow. I associated the agent to Oliva with Brazil agents group. I associated this one to Brazil agents groups too. And here you can see all those changes that may be important to you to know. So as an administrator, for sure. So here you can select different filters. You may select the date range, you may select the agent who performed the action, and you can also select what changes. For example, if it changes a SLA policy, for example, I can see that today I created an SLA policy for the Brazilian agents group. Call it SLA policy for Brazilian agents. Okay, now we are going to see the problems section. Problems is this section which is here. If you click here, you will see the list of problems which are already created. If you want to create a new problem, all you have to do is click on this sign of plus at the top of the page and select problem. In here, you will fill those fields in order to create the problem. You can fill all those fields and you will create a new problem. I'm not going to create it because I already created one here. This one, the computer stopped working. The fields that you are going to fill in order to create a new problem are going to appear in this window, which is the maintain window of the problem. In here you can see the analysis feature of the problem. Here you can add a root cause, an impact, and a symptoms of this problem. You can also add a solution. I added this solution as a permanent solution to this problem. But if you don't already have a solution for the problem, you can also create a new solution. Okay, for example, I created this one, change for IT department software. In this case, we can see the information about the change here in this window. We can also see, or we can also make a follow of the change here. At the moment is in the open process, and it will be next awaiting for approval. In this case, if you are able to change the status of this change, you will go just here and you will update. In this case, now it is waiting for approval. In case if you want to request for approval, all you have to do is click on here and CAV approval. Once you are here, you can select what kind of approval do you need. In this case, this is the change planning. The person who is going to approve this is going to be me. And you can also request for approval of release acceptance, and I am the person who is going to accept this one too. So once as you have already make the approval request, you can, if you are open to approve this request, you will go here and you will approve it. Once it is approved, you can see that it is approved on here, and you can also see it in this part. So it will go to pending release and you can update. Now this is in pending release phase. In this case, I will go to CAV approval, release acceptance, and I will make it for me too. In this case, I will approve it too. and once you come here you can see that it is already approved. So you can go to the next phase with this pending review. Once it is already reviewed, you can go to the next phase with it closed, and we already make that change. Okay, now we are going to talk about releases. In this case you have to go to this section here. In here you can see the releases. You can create a new release in this part here. If you want to create a new release, all you have to do is fill all those fields in order to have the information of the release. I'm not gonna create it because I already created one. Here I have one release. In this case you can see the information of the release on this window. And you can also build a plan and test a plan. You can add this information here. In case you want to administrate a release, you can go here and you can associate it to existing change. For example, let's say that this release is associated with this change, so you can link it. Once you do this, you have the information here. For example, the solution is change for IT department's software. This is the association, and the activity is the created release at 25 June of 2022 and was linked at the change today at the moment that we linked it. In here you can delete or mark as completed the release. Let's say that it is already completed, so we can confirm here, and the status of this release will change to completed. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make a location-based automation setup. For example, if you want to create an automation setup, you can go to admin and you can go, in this case, to workflow automator in the help desk productivity section. Once you are here, you will have a list, you will see a list of automation process. In this case we have already made some automation process and some others are already made by default on the platform. In this case we want to create a ticket management automator process for a locality. I already created one called location based setup ticket automator for Brazilian group. In this case this automator is going to work for the people or the requesters or the people who raise a ticket from Brasilia time zone. So in this case let's take a look on how this workflow automator will work. In this case this is an event button. In the event we can see that when a ticket is raised, it's going to be the event. So the event is going to be when a ticket is raised. After that we can put an action. When a ticket is raised, when a ticket is raised, we can going to put a condition. This one is a condition. The condition is when the requester feels requester time zone is the time zone from Brasilia, which is the only time zone from Brazil that I found on the list. So when a ticket is raised and the condition says that the time zone of the person who created this ticket is from Brasilia, we are going to add two actions. If it's positive, I mean if the time zone is Brasilia and it's positive, we are going to assign this action. The action is going to be assigned to a group, and the group who is going to receive the ticket and who is which is going to be assigned to this ticket is going to be the Brazil agents group when it's positive, and if it's negative, it should be assigned to another group of agents depending on the time zone. In this case, I just made this workflow for the time zone of Brasilia. So if it's negative and the requested time zone is not Brasilia time zone, the ticket is going to be assigned to me. Just for example, in real life this is not going to work this way, for example, but in this case I made it by this way. Okay, now we are going to create an automator according to the service request and the item price. For example, I'm going to create a new automator here, automator according to the item price automator, for example. Once we have created this, we are going to be here. So we are going to create this service request is raised, done. After that, we are going to put a condition. The condition is going to be ticket fields, ticket fields, and here we will go to service cost is greater than, and we are going to put a number, for example 500. Done. If the item cost is more than 500, we are going to send approval mail to me, for example, that I am the administrator. Okay, done. And if the item price is less than 500, we are going to send approval mail to my VIP agent, which is Elon Musk, and he can make the approval. So this is how we create an automatic according to the price approvals. Okay, now we are going to talk about the asset management. Here we have different tools. I'm going to talk pretty fast about every single one of them because this will take me too much time to explain everyone. So this one is the product catalog. Here you can see the current products that you have or the assets that you have on your organization. In vendors, this is your vendors catalog. Here you can see the vendor and you can add different fields to know about the vendors. Vendor fields, this is the place where you can create a new vendor, and you can also create new fields to know a little bit more about your vendors. In order to know a little bit more, depending on your needs and of your organization. After that, we have the relationship types. This just basically tell us about how different assets are related. For example, if two assets are working together, we can add some information about the relationship types here. Then we have the asset types and fields. For example, here we have different asset types. For example, hardware, software, and every single kind of types of an asset. And we can also see fields from that kind of assets to know just to know where asset comes from. I mean, what kind of asset is this? Then we have the locations. The locations help us to create new locations. For example, we can create a location, and this location will help us to know a little bit more about an agent, a group, or a vendor. Then we have discovery. The discovery tool it helps us to know a little bit more about the agent. For example, if you download this one, it will tell us what kind of software and hardware we are using on your computer, just to know and to have a little bit more of the inventory of the organization. The same with the proof. The discovery proof scans your network for assets like laptops, router, printers, and add them to the Freshservice catalog inventory. Freshservice inventory, I'm so sorry. Then we have the financial management. This one helped us know a little bit more about the financial management. For example, we have three kind of financial management, which are declining balance, straight line, and sum of years digit method. When you have an active and you have a new active, which is new, you just already bought it, but after 5 years passes, maybe the active will cost less, it will be a declining price, or it will be costing the same after 5 years, or even it will cost more or less depending on the sum of years. Those are the different financial management types. Then we have the contract types. It just help us to know a little bit more about the contract. We can create a new contract type if our contract doesn't adapt to the ones we have already here. By default, we have lease, maintenance, software license, and warranty. Then we have pushers order and fields. For example, when you make a pushers order, if you want to let an agent or let the people know a little bit more about this pushers order, you can always fill those fields to know a little bit more, like order name, order number, vendor, currency, department, expected delivery date, just to have it recorded, to know a little bit more about this pushers order. Then we have software fields. In the software fields is pretty much like the same of the pushers orders, just we are going to talk about software. This helps us to know about the softwares that we have on our organization. We have the description, status type, publisher, category, managed by, and notes, just to have it recorded on our information. And then we have the SaaS management, which is going to be a new asset management tool in here, but you can't currently use it. Okay, now we are going to talk about the alerts. To see the alerts, we just have to click in here on the alert section, and we are going to add a monitoring tool. After we have creating a monitoring tool, we can also add a new monitoring tool. Here we are as a list of monitoring tools that we can implement to our software, and then we can also integrate any tool of your choice via webhook or email. Here you can see all the monitoring tools. For example, let's use this one, SolarWind. In here you will see more information about this. You will need to select this information, endpoint and outdealer. For example, I'm going to let this way. I haven't received any alerts yet, but this works. Now if you go to the admin section, in the IT operations management section, you can find the alert rules. Here you will display the alert rules. You can have a default rule, or you can alert automation settings. You can add in an automation setting to resolve an incident, reopen incident, or change incident priority. Those are the ones that are already created. If you want to add a new alert rule, you just have to click here. And here you will find some information, some short fields that you will need to fill in order to create a new rule. I'm not going to create any, but you are open to create it by this way. You can add name here, description here, conditions, and actions. Now you can also create an incident. If you want to create an incident, you have to click on this sign of plus at the top of the page and go to the incident section. In here you can search a requester who is going to be the requester for this incident, or you can add a new requester. In this case I'm going to use already know requester. After that you can add the subjects of this ticket. For example, you can add some information here. You will need to fill all those fields in order to create the ticket, and you can also add the description, the category and tags. You can also associate an asset in order to create this ticket or this incident. You can also select a template. You can create a template in order to create it. For example, printer issue paper jam with first floor printer. Those are templates that may be used in order to create common incidents that usually happens. Okay, now let's talk about the project management. In here you go to admin and then go to the project management section. Here you will find those management options. In the project fields you will be able to fill project fields in order to have more certain information about a project that you are having in your organization. Then you have the DevOps integration. Here you basically will be able to integrate the project management or the project that you are having with other integrations. And in your import you will be able to import information from Jira. Here you will need to fill some fields. Give me a moment, waiting it. So okay, now here in Jira you will provide an account URL, admin email and admin APK in order to get some Jira imports. Okay, now we are here at the project section. In here you can see some information and some reports about your projects. For example, I have this one, new creation, new application rollout, and this one. So if you have to see a report about this, all you have to do is click on in here and you will see. You will need to complete 11 tasks, and there are 0 completed, 0 work in progress, and 11 tasks yet to start. You can do the same thing with the other project. For example, you just have to click in here and you will see that task already have 0 completed tasks, 0 tasks, 0 working problems, and 0 yet to start. So here you can find some reports about your projects. You can also see the information about the dates when a project start and when a project finish, and this is the way you can have a report about your projects. Okay, now in order to create a chatbot, all we have to do is go to admin section, and after that general settings, super channels. In here you will find some information and you will need to click on chatbot. Here you will find some information about your chatbot. Here you can configure your chatbot and customize your chatbot. For example, you can give it a name, you can give it what the bot will say at the start. You can set a time. For example, you can see here the examples. I'm going to select this one. You can also change the image of the bot. You can make it conversational portal for the self-service portal, or you can use classic portal or both conversational. This is the way I'm going to use it. Okay, now if you want to have a look of your chatbot, you will need to go to the self-service portal, and after that you will click in here and you will go here, ask, and it will appear the name of your chatbot. And here, for example, I am talking with my chatbot, and you have select the issue or the action that you want the chatbot to talk with. For example, I'm going to talk about my tickets. In this case, what tickets would you like to see? All tickets. You don't have any tickets? Let me start over. Okay, in this case you can You can talk with the chatbot and he will provide you information automatically with artificial intelligence.